Hey everybody, welcome to episode 119 of the Bonehead Podcast, where we talk all things Blood Bowl. I'm Ben, and once again, I'm joined by Blood Tithe Ben. BT, how you doing today?
Hello, doing very well, thank you. Prized me away from Final Fantasy for one evening, and
yeah,
so it means a lot.
Gonna have to try and make this a quick episode today, and to keep us on track, we are joined, as ever, by TO extraordinaire and Rolling One specialist Ian Triple Power Triplo. Trips, how you doing?
Very good. Staying away from Rolling One, so that's all good.
You need to play Moonstone. There's no dice. It's
oh yeah.
It's just cards.
Conquest ones are good.
That's messed up. That's not okay.
Got to roll below. It's good. Love it.
Actually, that works really well in. Have you guys ever played Infinity?
No, I actually haven't. I really want to.
It's really good. Basically, every it's a D20 game. It's a versus roll, but not like trash tier like most versus roll games are, because I cannot stand those. It's like, oh, we both roll a dice. Who wins? Like, no, there's a reason Risk is one of the worst games ever made. And Corvus Belli, that you've got this skill number, which is like, I don't know, 12, and then you have your modifiers, so +2 short range shooting with a gun, so you become 14 to shoot. You both each individually, like your opponent then is like, well, I'm going to shoot back, and my shooting's 10 and I've got +2 as well, so I'm rolling looking for 14 and under, you're rolling looking for 12s and under. If you both succeed, it's like the highest success wins. If you roll the number exactly, it's a critical. It's really
cool.
good. It's a floating target number that you roll underneath on a D20. Very smooth.
But
that's cool. Otherwise, rolling ones is just it should never be okay.
No, I was rolling 2 D10s last night as I was doing stuff, and I rolled 0, 0, 0 3 times. I was like, I have done something really wrong this year.
You've leveled up.
Yeah.
yeah. He's leveled up from zeros to zeros. I have this thing that if I have a particularly stressful week, I'll make a well-being purchase, and it's invariably like I will buy dice, like cheap Wish dice and stuff that's like 50 for £7, and then just so I can like hold them and things. So my well-being dice turned up the other day, and I was like, oh cool. I was like, grab 2d6, rolled. It's like a 3. Grab 2d6, rolled again. It was another 3. Grab 2d6. I rolled like trash, and I was looking at this. I was like, oh no. Oh no.
You say that, but you get anxiety when I dodge a Skaven, but that's all you need to do, and it's fine.
Yeah, but I'm saying 3 on 2d6 together. Like,
on 2d6. Sorry, I thought you meant 2 separate ones. Okay.
The best roll I got was a 7. It was a concerning thing. It was.
It's rough.
But they fixed the low number roll high thing in 40k now, haven't they, Ben?
They did, yeah, because leadership's on 2d6 now. Which is actually cool. I'll talk about that in hobby. I've played it now.
I am properly excited to see this. Because, right, I tell you what, back on track ever so slightly. BT 119, what are we talking about?
We're going to be giving our first thoughts and opinions on what we know for Gutter Bowl. And yeah, that's... And then, I mean, you guys are going to talk about Blood Bowl 3. Haven't touched it for good reason. And
yeah.
But yeah, otherwise it's just a little summary of where that's at now.
It made sense to touch base on Season 1 of Blood Bowl 3. But on top of that, what I wanted to do, what I nearly kind of floated as the topic for the episode was like other stuff like Blood Bowl downtime, which I feel like we're months behind on, which it is entirely like my fault because I live in a place where I'm hopeful there's something coming. Now we've actually got something coming. I'm like, what we should have done is spent the last couple of months going, what do you do when there's downtime? What do you do in between releases when you're kind of like, oh, okay, the league's finished. I've got no tournaments coming up right now. There's no new releases. How do I deal with Blood Bowl downtime? So at some point, it'll be worth kind of picking that up. But I mean, if we've got Sewer Bowl coming next week, that's July. You've got to have a new team in the next couple of months after that. So I don't think we're going to get Blood Bowl downtime for a little while now. But I guess I've been saying that for a year. So
Yeah.
That's very true. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm sure it's
Well,
still
as
fun.
we pointed out the other day, when you get to the stage where it's nearly July and the current score on predictions is 0-0-0 and Milton's got 1 for predicting an expansion, we're not doing well for new stuff.
Oh no, can't let Milton win. Oh yes, Milton's got a headache, so he's bowed out of today's episode, but he will be back next time. I tell you what, lads, shall we move on to news? Okay, so news, we've got a few things to go through. It is the beginning of the month, which means we've got a few Patreon sneak peeks as well, which is good because they do release new teams. So first up, we've got a Kickstarter. I mean, guys, Charlie Victor's Orc tokens. Have you had a butcher's at this?
I actually haven't. No, I'm going to load this up now.
Did I show you
just
the?
watch my
Did I
screen.
show you the human ones?
Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the orc ones.
Did you guys ever play Pogs? I've got a tangent here.
Ben.
No.
No. All right, I think this might be like in between both of you. So in Pogs, you had cardboard discs, and you threw a plastic disc at the stack of cardboard discs, and if you flipped them, you won them. It's brilliant. It was just
When
absolutely.
they're called Tazos in the UK.
Tazos were the ones made by the people who make quavers.
Oh, okay. I remember those.
Yeah, and they had
Okay.
little cuts around the side to make them patent free, like patent distinguishable.
Ah,
So you could kind of
okay.
like put them together. They were quite cool. But you could get slammers or keenies, as they were called, that were made of metal. So you just threw this, I don't know, like 8 mil thick 40 mil round disc at like just everything, and it was the most satisfying feeling. Picking up a Charlie Victor token feels like that, and because it's just like pure metal. And the human tokens are amazing, which is why I immediately backed these. I mean, I'm a big Black Orc player, so like I was like, actually, this is cool. This is proper bling. So yeah, they are not cheap. It is, I think, £69 for the token set. You get a ball token, you get a turn token, you get a couple of turn tokens, you get a bunch of reroll tokens as well, which are kind of just they just look proper orky.
These are really nice.
Yeah. I mean, it is £70, but it's like 12 tokens or something, and a ball token and an orc coach. So it's kind of like it's proper Blood Bowl bling, and I couldn't resist.
I wouldn't be surprised if a few people have backed it because it's a good way to access discounted add-ons for those that have missed a rolling cup or a case.
It's dangerous because when you back it, it takes you to an add-on page. And it's just everything. You've got the skill rings, you've got like the negatrait rings and everything on there. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, this is dangerous. But there's still 13 days to go. It's going to be wrapping up on Wednesday, July 12th. They've hit their goal and some. Like, I think they're on the way to 400% of their goal now, which is awesome. And yeah, I mean, Charlie Victor does properly good quality stuff. It is not cheap, but it's not cheap, you know. The products are not cheap.
It's very much a luxury Blood Bowl item, and that's okay.
I agree. You can get your kettle from Asda, you can get your kettle from John Lewis.
Exactly.
Go to
Disclaimer.
Yeah. If you get a choice, go to John Lewis, please. It would be nice to have a bonus again. Okie dokie. Punga. Okay, so Punga have done a couple of teams this year. They've done the Sea Orcs, which had the awesome troll with the little goblin on his shoulder, which is pretty cool. They've also done the Chaos Halfling team, which I painted green screen green, which makes it invisible on the green screen.
Look at that.
Yeah.
No one can paint like that.
I know, it's amazing.
Try and paint invisible. Yeah.
Can you paint invisible models? Actually, yes. And they've just dropped the star player set for the Orc team, which was pretty cool. They got like little goblins flying around on a rocket. Just spoiler, this one will be appearing in Milton's team, which is cool. And then they're just going on to the star players and staff now for their Chaos Halfling team. And they have made like a little Archaon.
I love him so much.
Yeah.
The Halfling coach is just a little Chaos Warlord. And he just looks like Archaon. He's got skulls on his shoulder. He's got like a big old cloak. It is It's so cool. They've spoiled 2 models. One is the coach model, which I don't know. Do you guys use coach models?
I do actually. I genuinely have. For my Skaven team and my Chaos Wolf team, I've used Chaos coach models for both.
Nice.
Often a good way to not forget the token for the rerolls.
Yeah, they're good for reroll. They're good for if you're playing Dungeon Bowl as well, because your coach becomes your wizard at that point, and you can kind of move him around if you've got him. Loads of models. This is their Rumbelow, and
so good.
It's
like this a lot.
it's a little corn Chaos Warrior on a little. Well, it's like a juggernaut pony.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I want this so much.
This team is so good, and the star players are pretty cool. Now there is a little bit of a downside to it though. What's the top 3 star players you would want on a halfling team?
What, Deep Root,
Griff,
Cindy,
Carla.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they don't have Griff and they don't have Deep Root planned for this release.
That's a strange one. They're not Deep Root, I think. I feel like every halfling team needs kind of model to represent Deep Root.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got 2 trees, and I guess you could like print a bigger one, but it's not the same. And yeah,
you want something
special
for Deep Root.
Yeah,
it's a bit of a missed opportunity. They got Chaos Rider star player, Chaos Halfling coach, Chaos coach assistant, Slanesh cheerleader, which I'm a little bit scared of. I haven't seen the preview of it, but just
Hunger are usually okay.
Yes, they are.
So it should be all right.
I think if you read that from other vendors, it would be a kind of like a case of like, Chaos cook star player. That would be Cindy, probably.
I would imagine so. Yeah, yes. Unless there's just a proxy for the Master Chef.
Chaos
the star player makes it. Yeah.
Chaos glutton star player.
Possibly the Blitzer. What's his name?
Oh, Puggy. Yeah, bang on.
Yeah.
Chaos ogre star player, which I'm assuming is Morg. A Siege apothecary and a Chaos halfling chef. So yeah, I mean.
There's chef. Yeah.
It's a great set. It's a great thing. Having a Deep Root would have been pretty cool. But I mean, ultimately, these sculpts are so good that if they came back and did a 4th month of this team with like even more stars, I don't think that would be the worst thing in the world. Because I mean, if you're backing them on Patreon, it's like I don't know how much it is, like £10 a month, maybe 12 with VAT or something, and you're getting like a lot of really good quality sculpts. So it's kind of like £3 a star player. It's the point at which it's like, all right, this is fine. It's not everything we want right now, but it's not bad. But I really like where they're going with this. Punga tend to be a few days, like probably about a week before we get this release out. But I'm a big fan of it so far. This one, Trips. Have you seen the Conquistadors from OWA?
Yes, saw these. I thought the theme was lovely of these.
This is very cool. The halflings are a bit derpy, but I don't know. Halflings kind of are. So Agni has shown off the beginning of the OWA team that they're dropping next month. This is going to be a 2-parter as well. But the kind of conquistador style lineman we saw already. Ben, have you seen the ogre for this?
Oh, it's so good. Like, I mean, Titanforge was there. This possibly even better. Yeah.
I did
absolutely love it.
I did think of you when I saw it. I was like, we've got a proper probably the best ogre for nobility is kicking about now. This release has got 6 linemen, a catcher, 2 dwarf blockers, 2 halflings, 1 troll slayer, a human thrower, an ogre, coin, and some other stuff. So missing the blitzer there, Trips, and that's it. Dwarf blitzer as well.
Dwarf blitzer, dwarf runner.
Oh yeah, so blitzer, runner, blitzer, runner will be coming next month. They did do a little breakdown of, hey, what's going to happen. Oh, here we go. It's actually here. I should have just scrolled down, shouldn't I? So OWA month 1, they got that. OWA month 2, blitzer, dwarf runner, dwarf blitzer, 2 more halflings, a tree man, Apothecary,
you go.
cheerleaders, coach, policeman ×2. Absolutely love that. Busts Cindy and Barrick as star players, which is pretty cool. Oh, they're doing Wood Elves in September and October. Oh, then Tomb Kings. Ooh.
I'm looking forward to Wood Elf because I think we're due a few good third-party Wood Elf teams. I think. And when we were doing the College of Life, it was quite actually tricky to find.
Interesting, you say that. Actually, we'll come to that in a minute. Foreshadowing. But yeah, the individual pieces, the individual sculpts on this, the ogre is just fantastic. That moustache is just.
It's fantastic. It's glorious.
Absolutely top tier. I mean, yeah, it's not great not having the dwarf blitzer or a human blitzer. You can kind of proxy one of the linemen as a human blitzer. And to be fair, you could probably proxy one of these two dwarves. I mean, what's more important, the blitzer and runner or the blockers trips with their awful skills?
Well, you've got to have the blitzers on the team, and you end up having the blockers and wishing they had the skill that you could use
and block. Yeah, it's a tough one with OWA. I mean, the thing is, month 2 is only 4 weeks away, and I really do feel like, and it might just be everything that's going on in the world and in my life now, but I'm like, 4 weeks, it's just not very long. Like, just, give it 5 minutes and you'll be like, oh, like today I went to do Realm of Path's Norse print to pitch video, and then I looked at the date and realised it was the 28th of the month. I was like, bloody hell. It's
like I got paid. I was like, what? That's early. Oh, no, it's not. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah. Now, next team we got is Torchlight. They've done some Wood Elves. Now, Torchlight do some really cartoony stuff, but they've got a couple of war dancers that they've showed off already. And they've got the characteristic big fists, big feet that works for Torchlight. I maintain that the Torchlight Corn team is just awesome fun.
Oh, I love that team.
It's so good. The Wolf Boys are a bit derpy, but the actual team is just great. The Dark Elf team for Torchlight was pretty good as well. Not like pro tier, but actually really good. And the Wood Elves are looking pretty cool too. So Torchlight are dropping a Wood Elf team. And on the Wood Elf theme, Ben, I also had a look at the Realm of Paths. I bought the Realm of Paths Wood Elf team because Milton needed a Wood Elf. And I was like, this is a good time to pick it up because actually I love what the Realm of Paths are doing. And they're very good as well. There's no clear winner yet. So if Ugni continues this binge that on outrageous quality that they're working through, it could be like top tier.
Yeah, definitely.
Super. I tell you what, I think the STL team of the year won't be so much of a whitewash this year as perhaps it might have been previously. We might actually have to split that up into categories.
Yeah, that might be a long segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
we're only halfway through.
Yeah, that is one good thing. Talking of Realm of Paths, they are working on Chaos Dwarfs. They've got a very cool looking blocker. The Bull Centaurs are looking menacing, and the Hobgoblins.
Yeah, these are really good.
The Hobgoblins have the vibe of a Power Rangers villain.
The putties. Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. They're cool. I think the face sculpting is phenomenal. On the Hobgoblins. That's like, and all of them actually. I think they're all really good.
It's really good stuff. I don't think that Realm of Paths. I mean, the Norse team is wicked. I don't think they've trumped that team you found, Ben, the Tomb Kings team. It's just amazing.
Good on.
I absolutely love it. But this is a very cool Chaos Dwarf team. This is probably looking like it's going to be my favorite STL Chaos Dwarf team out there. I think Grebo and Punga, where you can only buy them physically, probably, but there's not a huge amount of it. Really impressed with this. So it's cool to see Chaos Dwarves hit. And then that is it for physical Blood Bowl news. We've got the Blood Bowl 3 bit to talk about. And I guess before we move on to games and hobby, just to say a massive thank you to everyone out there who supports the channel in any way, whether you're one of our awesome Patreons, a YouTube member, whether you just watch the videos, like and support us, or whether you pick up hopefully some enjoyable Blood Bowl goodies from our store, because there's some absolutely wonderful Blood Bowl models out there, and it's a pleasure to kind of print them for people as well, because it's so cool seeing the pictures and be like, oh, got my team, painted it up, and it's wicked to see. And I'm like, that is just awesome. So thank you all very, very much for supporting us. Our next tournament's not till November, so you've got time to make way in your calendar and come see us on the 4th of November for Bonehead Bowl. But we've got loads of Blood Bowl going on in the meantime, and I think we'll bounce to hobby.
Good.
Okay, so hobby, games, building, buying, painting, priming. What's occurring? Who's been doing things?
I'll let Ian kick off.
So
Come on, Ian, time to kick off.
Yeah, I've got some hobby done this time. So the Leagues of Voltron kill team is now finished.
Leagues of Voltron. Oh yeah.
The little guys.
One of them's yellow, one of them's red, one of them's blue.
Assemble.
Oh dear. They are finished. They're based. They need the magnets on to go into the display case, but they're all finished. Really pleased with them. Really nice little models to paint. Lovely faces and great moustaches of the dwarf. So that was good. And I painted a spider because I had a random spider that I think I printed out for Craig, and I think I broke one of the legs. So I had a 7-legged spider and painted it with a color shift paint, which was really, really difficult. You put it on at first, and you're like, nothing's happening. Then all of a sudden, you're like, oh, it's a metal shifting color.
It looks really cool. It's a really great effect. I'm
Oh,
looking to do it myself, I think.
I've missed this. I did use one of the color shift paints on a bunch of spaceships actually a while ago, and oh, that's horrific. Yeah. It's like a metal spider statue.
Yes.
Got a couple of those guarding my printers at the moment. It's wonderful.
What, big spiders?
Oh yeah, just full of them.
Yeah, Tiff and I have been talking about the new house, and now I'm just like, every cupboard that we put in and every whatever we do, there's going to be no gaps.
Yeah,
like I'm going to
still get in.
Yeah, they will, but
find a way.
Less places to hide.
I should be bringing them.
just bring a little 3D printed spider and just put it in the house.
Leave them. Yeah.
So I printed that and did that. So I was really pleased with that. So I did a load of bases for my Blood Bowl draft team.
Yes.
And I've purpled my bases, so that's a re-roll straight in. Absolutely cheating, 100%.
No, I like that. That's gaming the system. That's very Games Workshop player of you.
And I've managed to print the entire team that I drafted, so I got all of my miniatures printed. Classic. Hadn't used the printer for a while, so it decided not to play on the first go.
Oh, I saw the failed. There's nothing worse than a failed print like that.
Nothing better than looking at it going, that's a lovely load of supports and nothing else. So tweaked the supports, got it all printed, got everything ready to go, and we'll be starting painting them this weekend.
Fantastic. How about you, BT?
Hobby-wise, a little bit lower. I've been crunching through some more Conquest. Nearly finished my unit of crossbowmen. I'm still trying to get this all done by mid-July as we're going away.
Oh, you've got a Conquest
showdown. Yeah.
This is where we need Ian Hannum to come up with a clever name for it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm sure he could. It's far more punny than I am.
Yeah, Conquest Parks is the best I can do. It's not very good.
That's all right then. But yeah, I have been working on some. I did some 3D printing to get some character stands. So like the characters, they come on it's usually a stand of 4, which looks a bit naff because you always have one missing. So 3D printed ones with circling, which is really fun.
What's the underside like?
It's just flat.
It's just flat. Did you print it flat on the base, on the tray?
No, I did print it at an angle, and they were slightly warped. So I stuck them in boiling water and stuck a stack of heavy books on them, and they're fine.
That is
Yeah.
awesome.
So now they're all really flat, which is good.
It's kind of like a big version of that Kickstarter that was going on the other week for the multi-basing base nuggets. I can't remember what they were called, nubbin plug hole things. But no, that's awesome, man. I mean, how long till Conquest Weekend?
2 weeks just over. So I've got a lot of painting to go. I've got some horses to go, and yeah, was very much stunted a bit by video games coming out. Diablo 4 took up a lot of time, and then Final Fantasy straight after that, which is so good. Oh my god.
What, Final Fantasy?
Yeah. God, I'm loving every second of it. Every time the music comes on, I'm just there like, oh, looking forward to Distant Worlds whenever the next one is.
I was talking to Bruty earlier this week about Diablo 4 because I was like, hey, how's your your month of training yourself? Because he's like doing a montage to learn some tricks and tips. I was like, how's it going? And he was like, well, I played a lot of Diablo 4. I was like, yes, this is why I'm not getting it. I cannot afford to. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it because I know what will happen. I will just lose my job. I'll be high level.
It's
though.
pretty dangerous. Yeah. So I've lost a lot of time to that. But hey, getting back in the hobby, I've got a deadline, gonna commit to it. So after that, I've also got about to print. I still need to stick on tonight. The team for Seven's draft as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Need to crunch those out. Should be good fun though. And also penning up my high elf team for the World Cup. That needs to happen.
Ooh. Oh, you going Punga?
Yeah, using the Punga ones. Yeah, going to do in my classic scheme. Like one of my first league teams was the Airtane Egotists, and they've upgraded to the Airtane Hurricanes now. For the World Cup. Yeah, so they are, kind of red. No, permanently white, red highlights. It's a yellow. Classic high elf.
Classic.
Yeah, should be good fun.
High elf. Man, we've actually got loads of stuff going. I don't know. Did I talk about completely bombing out of the Entoyment League?
You just completely bitched. I don't think you talked about it on the pod.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It went badly. I played against Dan. Dan's awesome. Underworld versus Skaven. Was going in 6-1-0, and I mean, Dan didn't make a single mistake, which was perfect, and the dice, man, were it was a tough gig where I couldn't do anything. I basically had no turns. And it was tough. Dan was awesome. He played really well, but it was just like, it was an absolute ruffle stomping. It was terrible. So I bombed out of that. I think that's the only bit of Blood Bowl I played that wasn't one of like the 10 games I played on Blood Bowl 3 in the last week. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. But like you guys, I've been working on my, now for some reason, I've installed this new screen and my mouse now no longer exists on this other monitor, which is significantly problematic. Let me see, if I go to the news screen, I might be able to flip to Chitubox. And yeah, that doesn't work. Oh, that's a shame. I don't know what the heck is going on. I imagine it's where I've got multiple screens. I was going to show my team off because I was going for like a tavern vibe with them, and I've taken all the STLs because I've 3D printed them, and I've.
Sorry, open a drink.
That's so ominous.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Smoke grenade.
Like talking about the tavern team, and I've 3D sculpted every single one of them with a mug. Like even the rat ogre has got like a big old picture in his hand. The chameleon skink, I replaced the ball with a little beer stein. So everyone has got a beer, or in the case of my witch elf, has got a little wine glass, which I realised won't come up on that screen. So that was quite entertaining. They were printed. I didn't bother giving the two goblins beers because couldn't be bothered at that point. But no, I've got all my dudes, got them all printed out, so really happy with that. That was kind of my most exciting bit of hobby. Well, I don't know if that's true, actually. Something is going on with that screen, and I don't like it. What have I done? What have I done? Why is Chittybox being a unfriendly bean?
Because it's Cheeto Box. You got to upgrade.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Oh,
Ditch it.
the
piece of
problem is,
software.
I'm just scared because I've got it, like everything is dialed in, like, and it works, and I'm like really happy with it. I'm scared to move over and then have to like start again and learn all the settings and blah, blah, blah. No,
Scared of change.
Yeah.
scared of inefficiency, and it makes
Nothing more efficient than your application crashing every time you check.
Yes.
Well, I think it's only crashed because I've got my extra monitors now, and it's like
That's true.
it's all being squiffy. That probably is Chittybox's fault. But yeah, man, I mean, so I got my gaming with that. I got loads to talk about actually, but I don't want to monopolize this. Who else has been gaming?
I tried the new edition of 40k last weekend.
Let's
Do
go.
tell.
Let's go.
So yeah, first impressions, like of the rules coming out, loved it. Said on the podcast, I think it's gone in a really good direction personally. And then they dropped the list building stuff and the points, and I was like, this is naff. And I made my list, and it was naff. And I was just like, this is just very dull. Like you make like 3 choices, and then the rest of it is just what you can fit in with the points. Like it's just not. What I liked about 40k, one thing that made 40k fun for me was tweaking and just like spending half an hour with your list, being just like, well, I could probably sacrifice that, squeeze in a couple more boys. If I fill up the truck, it's going to cost me this. And I just really love that, and that's gone. Like that is just not in the game anymore,
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned. However, once I got over myself, stopped and took a drink, watered down the sodium. Went and played it with my mate, and it was such a good game. We did 750 points of orcs versus Tyranids. I
750.
ran a very, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's really low.
it is, and it was still fun.
Ooh.
It just felt right. Like, I mean, I think I'd rather play 1,000, but where we were learning the game, we decided to keep it simple. One thing that the list changes do lend themselves well to is for lower point games, it's less restrictive what you can build. Like you can still play the game properly. You don't need like, okay, I need to take hero troops and stuff, and then you have like a room for like a toy.
Is that
You can just bring the fun stuff if you want.
Is that because they've lined it up a little bit more? Because boarding patrol was like 500 points, but not a huge amount of restrictions, except you can't take vehicles for the obvious reason.
Yeah, kind of. It's just there are no restrictions.
Yeah, they got rid of Force Org, didn't they?
Yeah, like it's just you can't take more than 3 of one thing. If it's a troop, 6.
Which I
That's it.
think was already a rule.
Yeah, that was already a rule. Yeah, but that's still there. So it's just if there's one unit that's good, you can't just spam that for your whole army.
Have they
You can
got-
for if you want.
I was going to say, have they got that aggravating thing that AOS has got where you can only reinforce a unit once per 7 days or something? And it's going to cost you 1,000 gems.
No, but most units only have a set amount and then an upgraded amount. So it's not like boys used to be able to take between 10 and 30, however many you want. Now you can either take 10 boys or 20 boys. Or like there are some units where it's like you can take 5, you can take 10, you can take 15.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's a couple of weird ones like Custodes. It's like 3, 4, or 10
So-
or something like that. It's
yeah,
also weird, yeah.
Yeah, there's a little gap, isn't there? Someone did say this, which I thought was hilarious. It's like, you can't take
3,
7.
4, and 6, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can't take 5. Well, you can, but you pay for 6, so it's really yeah. So there's weird bits about that. I don't like it. But the game is really fun. Like it's just so much more streamlined. All the decisions you make are genuinely impactful. Like the stratagem changes are really good.
Yeah.
It's a lot simpler now. Your pool is smaller, and each one does a much bigger thing.
Massively put me off. When you and Ian played, Warhammer played at club, and you were playing with models, but actually all you were doing was standing around the side of the board with a deck of cards each and a library. It was kind of like, oh, that looks
Overwhelming.
That looks
Painful.
miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is still an element of that.
Yeah.
I think for new players, there will still be that. So there will still be that element. But a lot of the strategy comes from when you use them and who you use them on. And I think that's good. It's healthy. There's about I think when you're playing with it, you can use about 10. I think if you have all of them, no, maybe about 15. If you have all of them plus your army ones, but then it's very obvious which ones can be used, and like there's very good ones like Overwatch and Go to Ground, which are just very standard. You know what they are.
They're basically just reactions, aren't they? Those ones, which is just
yeah,
like
they
a
are
normal
reactions.
mechanic that costs a CP.
Mhm.
No, I mean I'm super
yeah.
impressed that you said it's fun at 750 because we tried AOS before, didn't we? And we had some 500
Oh,
point
it's
games,
not.
some 750 point games, and 1,000 point games. It was just rubbish.
Yeah.
The game just didn't work at that level.
It just doesn't. No.
And I
Yeah, this
want
game
it
definitely
to,
did. Yeah.
but it won't. So the
Yeah.
fact that 40k, 50k does is that's insanely promising. I like that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have really good feelings. I've got 1,000.1 this weekend, so it'd be good to test that one out. Yeah, I just think it's a really good change. I think everything has its own identity very strongly, which some units didn't. There were just some that were just, worse versions of others.
Now you just
This
got
time,
guns that are worse
because
than others.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think having units with their own abilities is really fun. It was kind of reminiscent of Blood Bowl, actually, where you have these star players with special powers that kind of just like, oh, how can I utilize them to use that power effectively? Every unit in 40k is like that now. Heroes are like heroes because you attach them to units and they buff the hell out of them.
Yeah, I
which is
really like
cool.
that. It kind of gives a weird little combo thing. So it's like
It does.
the roster's gone less from accounting. Hi, Alison. To more deck building, which is because you've literally got like postcards with your units on as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it is and it isn't. I wish it was more like that. But when you look at what characters, like let's say I want to take a war boss in mega armor, it's like cool, I can attach him to only mega nobs. So it's
they've got
again, there's no choice. Like every time you want to make a choice, it's kind of like there isn't one. It's
they're still working through some stuff as well, though, aren't they? Because it didn't like Gazgul like take up no spaces in a transport or something.
Oh yeah, that's so dumb. Like, if you're listening and you do that, like just stop playing the game because no one wants to play with you. You're the worst person, and no one wants that.
You broke 40k. No, that's
yeah.
That is very cool. 40k is in my list of things I want to try. It's not at the top at the moment, but it is in it's been floating around as one of my hobby dreams for this kind of this next period, because I'm super aware that my hobby time is going to come crashing to a null point in about 6 months. So I've got this new lease of life that's kind of like a hobby midlife crisis of I have 6 months left.
Yeah.
What are the things I want to do? What are the things I want to get done? And I'll tell you what.
Don't get too excited or anything.
Oh yeah, I mean, but no, it's more kind of like I want to tick off stuff because I love being with my family. I love being with Tiff, and I imagine that having like Tiff 0.5 is going to be even more like I enjoy this. I want to actually be with you. So like I'm looking forward to that, but it's kind of, I don't know, like an excuse to just smash some stuff out like in the next 6 months. So I'm kind of going a little bit Leroy Jenkins in the hobby space. And I'm going to get real very quickly for a couple of seconds. My health, so much better at the moment.
Yeah.
I had those operations, had those teeth out to free up the pressure on my sinuses and everything. I've had no infections. I put the glasses on. I've had no headaches. I've been calorie counting, so I've lost nearly half a stone. And I don't feel like complete trash all the time. And now I have the energy. But I think you guys will be very pleased with this. I've stopped pushing. So like this week, I've not done many videos because we had the mortgage lady on Monday. We had work was trash yesterday and podcast today. So normally I'd do a cup video every day or something. But this week it's just been a case of like, no, not going to push. Just going to sit down. Just going to chill. Just going to go potter about, play with Prince, and just not push myself. And I think because of that, I'm just like I have lots of mental energy left, which is terrible. For like, ooh, we could do this. Ooh, I could do this. Ooh, I could print this. But like, it's awesome. So it's much better. So thank you for
it's very easy in this. It's very easy in the sort of this hobby environment, I think, to kind of just like set yourself a million goals and then feel like you have to accomplish all of them.
Yeah.
And like whenever you get a fragment of free time, you have to fill it. When sometimes it's quite nice just to be like, just keep it free to do whatever that moment takes you. Whatever you get inspired to do in that moment.
Yeah,
So it's good that you're doing that.
I did think about you with that one though, Ben, because like you and I we both have the kind of like, right, I'm gonna stop doing that because I need more time to not do stuff, and then you're like, oh, I'm free Wednesday night.
Yeah.
I'll create a new hobby.
Fill it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like
create a new obligation.
Exactly, which is something not to do, I think. But no, so that's all really good stuff. But yeah, 6 months of pure kind of turbo hobby. We're going back to see the house on Friday. We should be there in a couple of weeks, which is nice. And we're going there to take loads of measurements. And I was kind of thinking, oh, maybe I can get away without taking the kitchen out and do all that kind of stuff. But actually, looking at the pictures today, it is miserable. It looks awful. So that is going to be a kitchen. That is going to be a big hobby job, kind of in the next month as well. So it's kind of like, get that done, build the shed, then we can live stream whatever the heck game we want to do, like Moonstone.
So excited.
Because we just got a game of that in.
We did. Oh, of course we did. Yeah, we both did. Oh, wasn't that fun? How did you find it?
It was good. I was left feeling a bit medium about it immediately after the game. But it's weird. Like I think I just processed it, and then the day after I was like, actually, that all fits together really, really well. It was, I think for introducing new people to the game, I think they could do with some simplified player cards. Just for like a beginner, like there should be 2 sets of like character cards. One should be like advanced, one should be basic, because there was a couple of times where like I was like, I got like 2/3 of the way through the game and I was like, I didn't realize that character could do this, and I've missed my opportunities here. But it was also, there's a little bit of like, okay, so it's the start of my turn, and this guy here is in 3 inches of this guy, so he does this one thing that brings these 2 guys this 1 inch over. They each get a blue token. I get 3 green sweets, a yellow one, and now I can boost this guy, and I place this trap card. I was just stood there a couple of times going like, if you say so, like whatever you want. Like it was a couple of bits like that, and I was like, that's not the best entrance.
I think especially because you're playing against an experienced player as well, who kind of like knows that. I think personally, like for a new player, just having more rounds is kind of where it should be. Like Moonstone's very tight, and you have very, very limited scope to kind of just like position. Like everything you do needs to be important, and it can take a few rounds to actually figure that out. And me and the game I had against Ian, this happened for both of us, where it's kind of just like, oh right, if I don't actually sort that guy out this turn, I have lost the game.
Yeah,
because I've just spent too long moving. And
no, so we got to like 2/3 of the way through the game, and I was like, okay, my first 2 turns I just completely misplayed, which was great because it meant I started learning it. I got to the end of the game, and there was a couple of moments where I was a bit like, I literally don't care now, like what you're comboing off, and I'm like, this, if you say so. And then afterwards, I was like, actually, I get it, and I enjoyed it a lot. And thinking back about it, I was like, actually, that was really clever. That was really cool. The way that works was really well. The force selection is really great. There's no points. You just choose 4, 5, or 6 dudes based on your game size. And that's just brilliant. The integral balancing of each of the characters is really, really, really clever. It was, there was so much of the game that I thought was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed it. And that, I think, like, this is kind of how I'm going to have to play things over the next few months. Is kind of like instead of like, I just like being like, oh, next month I want to try this game. Or next month I want to try this game. Or in 2 months' time, let's have a game with this. Because actually, I don't know, it was really special to just kind of rock up and play a game of something. So it was really cool. The models are lovely. The game is really clever. It sucks that my super combat guy just killed himself out. But again, the day after, I was thinking about it and I was like, that was stupid. I was like, well, it was only stupid because you weren't picking the right cards that work well with his power, or you were, and it was too obvious because there's a bluffing element. I was like, okay, I get it now. It was so actually really, really, really cool. I guess I have one controversial opinion about it, which I think you might be like, shut up, Ben. I feel like the factions kind of need just a couple of vanilla, like knight, goblin soldier, because
You do.
no, they don't know. They have Steve, the silver
Oh,
soldier,
okay.
and he's one Steve, and this Steve's ability and everything is very different than everybody else's, which is in its way very, very, very clever and very cool. But I don't know, just a part of me is like, wouldn't it be cool to have like pirate goblin, lobster lad, wizard man, and 3 goblin soldiers?
I know what you mean. It's very much a not your dudes game.
Yes.
You're playing with the dudes of the universe. And that's something that I also felt when I picked up the game was a little bit annoying, because I hate running named characters in anything. I don't use star players. So it's like, but I feel like I had to kind of get over that to play the game. But I know what you mean. If I had the option of running Goblin Soldier, I probably would every time.
Yeah, it's weird. That's the only
Mm.
thing I kind of went away. I was like, it would have just been less brain burn if a couple of your guys were the same.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, when it comes to building your own players and stuff, this is what always turned me off playing War Machine. This is what massively turned me off when AOS kind of went, and every army's got Nagash. And I'm like,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's miserable. And that was the biggest thing with AOS that I really hated. I was like, cool, I want to give my character, let's give him a unicorn, let's give him a Pegasus, let's give him a griffin, let's give him this magic sword, I want him with a shield. It was like, you get an hero man, and this an hero man has this one buff build, and his name is the same as every other gold hero man, but there's a slightly, it's kind of like, just like, this is no thank you. Because I'm with you, Ben. Like, I'm like, it works for Blood Bowl having a star player, because the team is adjusted by that star player kind of, and it works in that way. If it was a team of star players, imagine playing 7s with star players. That's kind of
That
what
is
your
actually
first
that
game
is.
of Moonstone is like.
Yeah, no, that totally is. But also on every turn they did something different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but the game, the models, it is all
Yeah, that's so true.
absolutely brilliant. So I was really, really, really impressed with Moonstone. So yeah, I mean, I know like Joe Solo has like become the priest of Moonstone, and I'm not surprised.
I think there's a really high skill ceiling to it. I think it's pretty easy to like. I'd say it can be easy to grasp. I think we jumped a bit too deep to start with, but I think the skill ceiling is like, whoa, crazy. I think everything's so fine and like so just what's the word? Just I don't know. It's like mechanical. Like everything is just everything you do is really important, and that's quite satisfying. It's a very crunchy game.
It's very, 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 very cool. So yeah, that was another game I managed to get in this month, which was pretty cool. Any more for any more?
So just one more for me. I've got the 5 parsecs from home, which is a solo adventure wargaming, but it's effectively you have a crew of a ship, and then you play mini skirmish miniature games with them. So you roll up your enemies, which is quite handy, quite a good way to go, oh, I need to do a bit of hobby. I need 6 miniatures to play against. And you can actually play like a full-on campaign. And the bit that got me in a review I saw was you can play it like Firefly, short and sharp and exciting, or still be going in 60 episodes strong, like Engaged. I was like, and that's got me.
Yeah. No, that is very, very, very cool. I think Rangers of Shadow Deep was a similar one for fantasy version.
Yeah, got that.
Yeah, it's always been good. There's a game bandied about at the moment called Majestic 13, which I think's been produced by that miserable bearded man who doesn't like Kill Team but makes videos about Kill Team every week.
Oh, Uncle Atom.
That's the one.
Oh, it looks like Ian. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Ian's smiling. Ian's smiling. He does have some funky lighting though. I'll give you that. I think he's made it because I heard about it on the Top podcast this week. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds good. Well, that's kind of like a Monster Hunter vibe. I was like, ooh. So I think solo wargaming is definitely something that, I don't know, there's something about it that just, I think it comes back to that. I mean, we had this chat the other week, didn't we, guys? Like, wargaming is about opportunity rather than actually wargaming. Like,
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
what was it we
Yeah.
said? It was like, do you like wargaming, or do you just like the idea of wargaming?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So
Yeah.
true.
I think that's
It's so true. This had me sort of. I think the first character I rolled was a human character, and his background was he's from a war-torn hellhole. He's got a survival motive, and he's a nomad. And I was like, yes, I am hooked. I can see the model in my head. Now I just need to find one in my STL library.
let's say your STL library is monstrous. So, that's very, very, very cool. I look forward to checking in about that. Yeah, there's so much hobby going on. I'm printing a sewer bowl dungeon because I can't not. I'm printing loads of old world stuff because I can't not. I'm printing loads of Mantic Armada because I can't not. But I feel like we should probably move on to Blood Bowl 3, guys. Any more peaks that you want to touch on before we move on?
Yeah, it's all good.
All right. Okay, so we felt like it was appropriate to check in on Blood Bowl 3. And why is that, Trips? What's happened to Blood Bowl 3?
So season 1 has landed, and that's meant that the lizards are here and everyone gets lizards for free. And the Blood Pass is also here with experience being gained to pick up free sparkly things to kit your team out with.
I did actually use some sparkly things on one of my teams. I spent the points because I got the gutter runners, and the gutter runners were starting to level up, and I was like, they all look exactly the same. So I bought some fancy shoulder pads to put on them so I could tell which ones were good and not. Trips, you bang on the money. The Lizardman team is here, and also season 1. Not only is it kind of like it's kind of like their internal release schedule, isn't it? Their season strips.
Yeah, they're like I think it's 3 months, 90 days, something like that, of effectively you'll have a battle pass, which is the Blood Pass, which you can earn the new team on, and all the ladders and leagues on the official will reset every 3 months. So that's the other thing that's come in. These the official ladders actually there, and you can actually see your win-loss record now. It feels like the game has actually launched now.
It does.
This would have been a launch.
So yeah, this went live last Thursday, and I got 7-8 games in over Thursday and Friday because I was like, "Oh, this is interesting. I want to try this out. Let's get going. So went on to the ladder, the main ladder, played some games. I think I went 6-1-1, and nearly got to silver rank. The fact they've got ranks in there now means, I believe, nothing.
So you can, when you play, you get matched up with teams that you are in the ranking with. So if you go up too quickly, you'll run out of people to play against.
Interesting.
Wow.
I like that. I mean,
so I think that's quite good because it means that a new player coming in or a new team won't run into someone who's played 20 games really quickly.
I like that as well. So I've played a bunch of games on main ladder. Trips, have you got some games in since the season 1?
I struggled in on the first day to get the game running. The classic restart your computer 3 times and eventually it stops crashing. Got back in. It's as it was before. A few less things are not working. There are still some skills and issues, and don't try and use shadowing is the great big warning if you've got Dark Elves.
All lizards. The new team.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's talk kind of nitty gritty. Of those 8 games I played, I had no technical difficulties. I did have a couple of skill peculiarities, but I think one of my opponents DC'd, one of them rage quit. Everybody else was basically there until like I had a couple more kind of quit at the end of, like, 3/4 of the way in, towards the end. If they were 3-1 down or something, they just kind of wrapped up and moved on, which I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Don't really mind that. But I had no actual technical difficulties. I know I've heard about stuff and people have said, oh, I scored a touchdown and I got 2 touchdowns, or some players went missing. I mean, I can only attest to what I've played with, which is that I had none. I was genuinely expecting some, because I was like, right, let's go. Like, this is why I played so many games in Thursday and Friday. So I was like, right, let's go find, let's see how bad this is. And that element of the game, the online matching, playing the games, getting the skills, upload, it works. It worked for me without an issue at all, which is brilliant. That's how it should have been on day one.
Yeah, it feels like there's been a little bit more of it over the last couple of days, particularly with our Discord for Blood Bowl 3's picked right back up again as people are playing it. But I think it's due to loading, and actually there are people jumping back into the game, so there's probably some server management and tweaking coming soon to get it working again.
Now, I think you already called it out though, Trips. The biggest issue is, and it's a bit of a blocker for someone who says, is Blood Bowl 3 good now? Is the fact that there's a lot of issues with core skills that just don't work, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's still some skills that you can't use or just don't work the way they're meant to. So you either completely ignore that or play with a team that's slightly underskilled because its skills don't work.
Yeah, I obviously was playing Skaven because why would you not? Animal Savagery, I got stitched a couple of times because you can't punch a guy on the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
And I made sure to like sequence things right. I was like, okay, Blitzer's already prone on the ground. That's fine. We'll see if the Roger needs to hit him before I stand him up. And then the Roger then immediately boneheaded. Wild animaled, because just stood there and rolled a 1. I was like, why can I not punch the guy who's on the ground? And the other one was when I rolled a 1 on a pass with my accurate on the ball thrower. Absolute winning. I was like, rolled a 1. Yeah, would you like to use the pass skill? I'm like, yeah, of course I want to use the pass skill. And immediately fumbled. Was like, did I really 1 into 1? Like, what the hell? I didn't. It just went 1, used pass skill, straight to fumble. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, come
That's
on.
annoying.
It is annoying. And what's the deal with shadowing, Trips?
So it just doesn't work. It's like a guaranteed way to lock your game up.
I had someone on the ground try and shadow me, which I thought was quite interesting. So I was like, right, because I made a pass action. The camo skink managed to just nuke himself into the ground, and it was fine. And then I went to move the player away from the corpse of the chameleon skink, and then shadowing menu popped up. And I was like, that is messed up. Like, it didn't work, and it was fine. But I was kind of like, that's a bit weird. I mean, Ben, from a video game point of view, if you drop a new release, new DLC, and how often is the stuff that's in the DLC, how often does that not work? Because shadowing is a cracking example where you've dropped a Lizardman team and one of the 4 skills that the team has doesn't work.
Yeah, I was going to say that. It's not really good, is it? It's not really acceptable. Like, especially after the backlash they got on the launch, kind of like just do it again is quite brazen. I'm not a huge fan of this whole fumble of a release, honestly. I'm still waiting for it to just be like, oh, cool, it's really, really good now. Like, get in, like, they fixed everything. Everything's really fun. But it's just that I keep hearing, like, yeah, no, you can play a game. And that doesn't really sell it for me.
Yeah, you can definitely play it. And they did do a little bit more comms, where there was a developer blog that came out the day after, and it was a little bit less, we know it's broken, sorry, and a bit more about these are the things we're actually doing. But but we haven't had the league admin tools yet. They were due to come before season 1. They're not in. I think it'll be really good to get those in so we can actually start running private leagues.
That's what I think would actually bring me into it, because at the moment I don't really want to go up against randoms with the game that might work.
Yeah. That's fair. That's really fair though.
When you're playing with someone, you can kind of communicate with them. You could at least just be like, look, I activated a player, they immediately just ruined my turn, and the other person could just be like, you know what, skip a turn. And it's just, I think that's easy to do with a person.
That happened in one of my games. I was playing against dwarves. They elected to receive, and then they got quick snap, and then they promptly skipped their first turn. Because if you use quick snap, there's a thing that you can kind of press backspace to finish it, but if you press backspace, it ends your turn. So they went quick snap, and then were like, I'm done quick snapping, pressed the same button, and then it just skipped their first turn. Because I remember being like, why are they not doing anything? Like, it's been ages. Why are they not doing anything? Then I realized it was my turn 1, and they'd received the ball, and I was like, oh, they skipped a turn with quick snap. So then I promptly shipped the turn back to them, and we skipped out on one turn. That's actually the person who rage quit, because I went 2-0 up at half time, and they were like,
blame them now.
Oh, not doing. Yeah, I know, but it's kind of an interesting one where it's kind of, you're right, and having I really just want to play a league on the Discord.
Yeah,
like, the ladder's cool, but the league is just
the ladder is. Just about. Oh, now you can see the ladder. At least it's way better. Before it was just a grouping of people, and you had no idea what was going on. As soon as we've got some admin tools, we'll get the Bonehead League set up. We'll give it a go, and I think at that point we'll see people playing on a more regular basis.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Do you know what? It was great for a day. It also taught me that playing 7 games of Blood Bowl in a day is a bit much. I had four games, and then the stress was there by game 5. It was kind of like a case of like, but I had that proper like Civ moment where I was like, right, I've finished my game, shipped it off. That was tough, but okay, fair enough. Like, I'm probably done now. Then I looked at my SPP. I was like, oh, that gutter's only one more away from my next skill. That gutter's only both my blitzers are at 4 SPP. I just need an MVP on one of those, and I can boost them up to mighty blow attack. Or I'm like, okay, fair enough. We'll just fire off. We'll just one more game, and then that's why I ended up playing like 6 or 7 in one day. Because I was like, oh come on, I just want to get one more skill. I've got 2 2-headed gutters now, which is wicked.
Nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
How long does the game take you?
The games? It's not as fast as you'd think. It's a good hour.
Okay.
I tried to get one in before I started work, and they conceded, or they disconnected. So, and then I booted up a second one, and I think I finished 20 minutes after I probably should have finished. So yeah, probably about an hour.
Okay.
An hour and 15.
Yeah, it's about an hour. An hour is probably a good average for a game. I think I've played a couple of games where both players have been quite quick and probably not also doing everything with every player, just doing the things that needed to be done. It's about a 40-minute game, but I think most games are about an hour to an hour 15. It's the classic Blood Bowl. You get a lot of removals and it gets a lot quicker. You don't, and it can drag a little bit. But the timers work quite well.
Yeah, I like the timer system. But I tell you what, 7s is just better. I love it. But you were playing the first half and you're like, oof, it's turn 6. We haven't finished the first half. It's just one of those moments where it's like, oh man, 7s is just way better with 12 turns total. It's just that sweet 45 minutes on the tabletop is just, it's just peak. It's just peak. But being able to grind out stuff with teams is pretty good. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'd say Blood Bowl 3 was at a C+ place at the moment. There's a lot of things to consider. We talked about the technical difficulties, which I think are rare now, which is wonderful. Mostly rare, still not non-existent, but 9 times out of 10 you're not going to have a technical difficulty. The
Yeah.
skills issue is a real thing that I mean, the old shadowing rule, fair enough, would have been hard to program. The new one, it got cleaned up in Blood Bowl 2020. It's basically roll a 6, and that I feel like that's quite easy to code. But I mean, so there's definitely a skills thing. One thing I think is really important to kind of counterbat against. I've seen a lot of comments online where it's like a case of, oh, this is dumb, they don't have all the teams. They're like, I'll just go play Blood Bowl 2. And I'm like, yeah, Blood Bowl 2 never had all the teams. Like, it didn't then, it doesn't now, certainly doesn't now. So it's kind of like online, like Blood Bowl 2 had way more teams, but even that never got all the teams.
And we've got a new team quicker in Blood Bowl 3 than we have on the table. Admittedly, it was a tabletop team. The question is, how many more teams will we have in Blood Bowl 3 before we get another team?
Actually, when did Blood Bowl 3 launch? Was it March? May?
Yeah, March time.
All right, so we've had 13 teams in Blood Bowl 3 since the last Games Workshop release. No, it's cool. It's not a bad way to play Blood Bowl. If you're a full-on veterinarian, then Fumble is the best way. Like, Fumble is the only way that you're going to get the Blood Bowl as it's actually supposed to be played. If you are a PC gamer, if you're just a PC or PlayStation player that likes smash and face on Blood Bowl 2 is probably better for you at the moment. And I think you, regardless of what you're looking at, Blood Bowl 2, Blood Bowl 3, and Tabletop are all different versions of Blood Bowl. Even if Blood Bowl 3 uses the correct rules, when it does, the subset of teams and the online experience, the online actual how you play stuff, it is different in every way. The skills you choose will be different. The speed at which you get the skills will be different. So I was able to just YOLO, not care, save up 12, 14 SPP to get 2 heads without really worrying about it. On the tabletop, that's going to take you a couple of months. This took me less than 24 hours to get two block 2-headed gutter runners. I was like, yeah, that's different. So Blood Bowl 3 will always be different from tabletop, unless you're playing in a league. And that's what you were saying, Trips, about actually those league rules. I think that's why that's so important, because that will stop the arms race a bit.
Well, we'll get the game in its true glory, although there's no star players in it at the moment. So,
I forgot about
there are some star players, but they haven't got the star player rules. So,
I don't mind that so much. I don't mind that so much. It's a little bit less Moonstone. Which I want to I really enjoyed Moonstone. I did. It's very good. I'd play it again.
I was listening.
Anytime. Tom, I hope you are listening, because I genuinely love your game. I just think the learner game I went through was a little bit not learner at all.
You can blame Richard for that. That's fine.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm an experienced gamer, so I asked for no quarter, so it's fine. It's on me. I didn't even look at the combat cards until I was in my first combat, so that's very much on me.
I always think with a new game, no matter how much you think you know it, it's always best to play a learner game where the other player is actively explaining it and playing it through.
Yeah.
It means you don't get the game experience quite as much, but you do get that understanding of the game much better, as opposed to 2 days later when you go, oh yeah, if I'd done that and that and that, I wouldn't have stabbed myself in the foot.
And that's something that I personally, as a gamer, find really important. I like making choices, and I like my choices to matter. This is why I hate games that are like, oh, roll and see who gets highest, which is why I think Frostgrave is a steaming pile. It's just because I'm like, I can't be dealing with this. Like, oh, I rolled a 7, I win. Like, brilliant, enjoy it. Or Magic the Gathering Modern. Like, I cannot stand Modern. Like, I know there's a load of people out there really like Modern.
I had $4,000, I win.
Oh, it's just, yeah. I mean, I went to a couple of modern nights. I was like, this is the least fun I've had since I learned how to flip a coin. So actually making choices is something that's really important to me. And in Blood Bowl, you are making choices all the time. But if you get caught out, like you're saying, Trips, like if you get caught out and don't understand what choices you are making, then it is kind of,
Yeah.
I
But a lot of
personally
that
find
goes back to what was one of the best things about Blood Bowl 2. It had the tutorial way of playing it that was probably the best way to learn the game.
Oh, so good. Blood Bowl 2 tutorial is genuinely good.
I was really hoping that the BB3 tutorial will be good, and that eventually when it lands on Switch, because Tiff was like, "Oh, I'll pick that up, and then I can go through the tutorial and the campaign, and I'll understand what you're saying a bit better." That remains to be seen. Although we'll have a good few months off next year if it gets on Switch, could be good.
Yeah,
while
It is
we're on
definitely
baby holiday.
due.
Well, we're putting our feet up. Yeah, so we got 72 days or whatever left in season 1. It's actually also nice to have a countdown to the next release, and I think, you know what, that's not very many days. So we just give it a couple more months. If you want to get some Blood Bowl 3 in now, you can do so. It's not a bad way to play some Blood Bowl. It's a fun way to brew up some teams and try out some skills, but it is still no substitute for a proper league. And I think I'm okay with it. Any more P's and Q's? All right,
Nope.
let's talk about some real Blood Bowl. And when I say real Blood Bowl, I mean tabletop. OG, proper, rolling dice where they can hurt you in person, which I feel like has hit all of us now this year. It started with Trips.
Yeah.
And I think it's hit me as well, although I did have 6 games where it definitely didn't hit me in Toyman, so I can't really complain. And my skinks were pretty great in that game. So, all right, it remains to be seen when we play our draft. Anyway, we've got some Blood Bowl news. And first of all, I am going to shamelessly take credit because the other week they had that Sunday preview where they put the little line at the end that was new teams and rules for Blood Bowl. And I got really excited, and then they retconned it and were like, lol, meant Black Library. And I was like, no. We are getting Blood Bowl news. I am going to manifest this desperately because it's been forever. Like, come on, let's get some news. And they did drop some news. And it is Gutter Bowl. And I don't think we've had a chance to talk about Gutter Bowl on the podcast, have we?
Nope.
Okay. So brief, if you follow the channel, watch the videos and are on the YouTube, the podcast feed, we've already given the breakdown of what the article says. But briefly, it is a new way to play Blood Bowl. Think sevens, but less professional. Think pub club kind of football, like soccer, like real local pickup games that are played in either the street or the sewer of a city. So this is literally underground Blood Bowl, and I love the way that they've brought it out. I love the art with the policemen. This is why I was really excited when Ugni was like, and 2 policeman models coming next month. I'm like, oh, perfect. And yeah, so it is a different way to play, and the box is being up for pre-order Saturday, which is this will go out to the patrons on Friday, so it's tomorrow. If it's going out to everybody else, I'll try and get it out nice and early Saturday morning. There have been rumours that some shops are not being able to get copies of stuff. I spoke to Pete today, and he said, "Nah, we're getting loads, don't worry about it." So if you want to get a copy and you can't, support your local gaming store, or just go to Entoyment.
Or our local gaming store.
Yeah, support our local gaming store. Yeah, go to Entoyment and pick it up, a copy there. But it is a pitch and a rulebook in the release. I think we saw the price is going to be about £35 or something.
I think that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that is basically the cost of the match play guide plus a pitch, right? Which is exactly what this product is. So
Yeah.
it's a book and a pitch, which is awesome. So, I mean, with that in mind, let's start about initial thoughts and feelings about this being the summer Blood Bowl release.
I think there's an air of disappointment. I think the product is kind of interesting for us, like because I mean we talk about Blood Bowl every 2 weeks, and we can kind of play it and make new content and try out all the new stuff. So I think this is really exciting for us. But I can kind of see everyone's been just like, oh, when's the new team coming? Just like Blood Bowl news, and it's a thing you probably won't never play. Oh. Yeah, so I can kind of see that. But I think it's cool. I think I can't wait to play, FIFA Street, but Blood Bowl.
Yeah.
This is going to be great.
Road rash with a football.
Yeah. I think that's the thing for us. Because we've already played a Blood Bowl variant or two and had a lot of fun. I don't think it's going to be as impactful as Dungeon Bowl in any way at all. But hopefully it's going to be fun, and it'll be a fun, quick way to play Blood Bowl every once in a while.
Now, we don't have the full info about the variant yet. So it is a new variant. So we've, like Trip says, Dungeon Bowl landed, Blood Bowl 7s was brought out and kind of made official, and Blood Bowl 7s will probably, well, we'll see about this one, be my favourite way to play Blood Bowl. It's just the best way to play. This one's landing. A change of terrain comes with a change of rules too. The facades of market stalls and the dank walls of sewers can be used to ricochet the ball, while the heinous drains provide an effluent filled hazards unique to Gutter Bowl. New kickoff events inspired by the surroundings also ensure that no two games are ever the same, and far looser security. Unruly fans and secret weapons can run amok. So we've got terrain and I think what you just said, Ben, a case of like, this is exciting and interesting for us. But it may be that just because we go deep into the hobby, we're basically the commander players of Blood Bowl, right? But, this is really interesting. It's a new way to play, different variant. There's going to be different pitches, different rules on the pitch. We don't know yet how much fluff is going to be in there, and that's the thing for me that I'm most interested about, because it keeps talking about this being street level Blood Bowl, less rules. This is like the most unprofessional Blood Bowl thing ever, and I'm really hoping that there are some player or team or just some rules there that make this feel more immersive, or more kind of like they do actually explore it one level more than they can. Because if it's just a sevens pitch with some terrain on, do you know what? I've played that game and it's brilliant fun. Like it's great, like no problem at all. If they go to the point of saying actually this is pub teams, so here, and they make their little, I don't know, like there could be anything. Like there's loads of stuff that could be in there that make it more immersive, I guess, and lean into the fluff side. If they do, I mean, Trips, we were just talking about, like, the first thing you did was roll up this spaceman, and he had a bad childhood and grew up, in the space Bronx, and liked hip hop, and went to live with his family in New Bel Air. And it's kind of like, at that point you were like, oh, I'm really bought into this character. If we got a little bit of that going on, that would be amazing.
We need like that hook to kind of just be like,
that's it.
This is why you want to play this game.
Yeah.
And that's just what I'm hoping to find. I don't think I've quite seen that yet from what they've shown. But yeah, I'm hoping.
We haven't really been told very much, but they have told us it's a 32-page rule book, haven't they? So
yes,
it's got to have a fair old bit of tweaking rules. Because I think didn't the first article say you needed the core rule book because this was the tweaks on it.
Yeah.
So that would suggest that there's something in there, because the sevens rules are like on 3 pages of Death Zone.
Yeah. That's it. So I'm with you. There's the hook. I think you guys have called it out here. If there is a narrative hook here, and I don't know if it's just because we've just done our draft, and I'm like well high on this team, I've got my theme, and I'm looking forward to this mix mash of players, and it's a really immersive and like unique experience. And I love the idea of playing in a sewer with sewer terrain. I love playing on a market, in a street with market stalls, and not just because it means we can 3D print some market stalls and make a cool sewer pitch and do some stuff. Like, I'm well excited about that, but just I hope there's a little bit of something that just adds that fluff and flavour, even if it is just, hey, here's some stuff. Do not do this outside of Gutter Bowl or we will kidnap your family. Like, even if there's that restriction of like, this is for Gutter Bowl only, just make Gutter Bowl something special.
Yeah, no, I totally get that.
But
I think, sorry, I think
No,
with
go
like the narrative thing, I know we've definitely talked about like having a team which you make in Zevons and they kind of like narratively go to the big leagues. I think like this could be another layer on that where, you know, like you say, you have like the person with their backstory, like they've joined this gang of like players who it's like their local five-a-side team, and then they go to Zevons and then they go and they can kind of follow the story of a player or a group of players.
I was going to say almost exactly. I was really hoping that there's some way we can get this, and this might be like us being what we do best, which is go slightly off the deep end. But
Yeah.
imagine playing like a draft Gutter Bowl, Sewer Bowl team that you can then build into a Sevens team, as you said, Ben, and then you can take on to tabletop and seeing them through. I mean, by the time
even
you
if
get
it's
them
just
to the
one
first-
player, like from your draft or something, like you could follow that one player's story.
Oh,
my
like,
you
God,
follow
you could do
them
an
all the way.
escalation league.
Yeah, you put him on the line of scrimmage in his first game, and the ogre
he
on the opposite team squishes him as he's dead. He's like, it's taken me 6 months to get him here.
Like I had 5 pages of backstory. It's like when the GM kills your character in session 1.
Exactly. But yeah, exactly. Now on the pitches, well, actually, you know what? More to Trips's point of like, we don't have any information about this. We're filming this on Wednesday, which means, well, I know I said like I've been busy and I've been taking it easy. I wasn't too worried about filming videos this week because I was like, right, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, one of these days, article's going to drop and I'm going to have to just bin out of work for half an hour and film a video about the article because that's what I've been waiting for. It's Wednesday. We've not had more details. They won't do it on Friday, so it's coming tomorrow, which means that this podcast will come out after I imagine I've put the reveal article. That hopefully will give us more detail because they don't normally put something up for pre-order before they tell you what it is.
I think Monday's article last week was the Monday teaser article, and because they copied and pasted themselves into a poll, the schedule's out. But yeah, I think you need a bit more of what it is, and also they need to drum up a bit more interest for people to go, oh, I want to buy that, and then maybe a bit more next week during the preview pre-order period.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird one. I feel like it's already too late after the Saturday pre-order.
Yeah, because we could be playing this in 10 days' time.
Well, no, it's because they dropped the Sunday pre-order, and that becomes the new hotness. And everything that came up on pre-order yesterday is just old hat as the kind of cycle. But on the pitch, we've seen one section of one side. It's a double-sided pitch. You've got streets on one side. You've got sewer on the other side. We can see that there is a sewer hole in the pitch. And one of the kickoff events refers to it as a sewer pit, which I think is it's either a don't know if that looks like it's either a random event or a kickoff table or something like that. So that's cool. There's gonna be actual like fixed terrain in there that you can fall in. I imagine there'll be pipes, which will be a 3D element that you can bounce the ball off using Dungeon Bowl rules probably. Now on the pitch, I did some maths, chatting with the guys in Discord, and I think we kind of talked about this on one of our videos. Looking at the way the pitch shot is here, this is the standard kind of layout that they use for the Sevens pitch, for a new team pitch, right? And that normally is quite representative of how the pitch fold goes. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 squares wide. That's the end zone, which means that it is a 15 square wide pitch, based on the fact that that's probably going to be a half fold. That's the same as a standard 11s pitch, but it's 1 square shorter on the fold.
Interesting.
Where you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.5 squares. Let's add another one in, that's 13, and then 7 on the other one because it's 6 2.5 squares. It gives you 20 squares deep. So this looks to me like it is a 15 square wide pitch, which is 11s wide because you've got 4 square in the wide zone here. But it's shorter. It's a sevens depth pitch, which I think we're probably going to have a no man's land here. So you've kind of got wider wide zones, but it's still going to be a sevens pitch essentially. And the dugout here only goes up to 6 rerolls and 6 turns. So we kind of scrying information here, but that's what I think this is going to look like. I think we're going to have a wider sevens pitch.
Is it possible that the photo's cut off?
Yes.
So it could be longer. Oh, okay.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm absolutely gagging for an article that shows us the pitch. And not just so that I can, because I've started printing one already. In fact, I know I've got another hour yet before that print's finished. My first of 22 2x2 tiles will be finished in an hour's time. I need 2 more of those to go. I want to build a pitch for it, so it's cool. But like, we don't know how big the pitch is. We don't know if there's going to be a no man's land, because the initial reaction was, guys, right? This is Street Bowl. They did it with sevens. Now they're doing it with Street Bowl.
Yep.
But this is obviously not Street Bowl.
In theme, yeah, but
in theme it is, yeah, but like the pitch.
Well, the other side might be Street Bowl.
Well, that is a very fair shout. That if the other side just has those squares either blocked out or just full of market stalls, like either side of the street, and you've got kind of standard Street Bowl on one side, and then you've got this pseudo Dungeon Bowl on the other, that would be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Yeah. Or just even the standard sevens pitch, so you get a sevens pitch with your gutter bowl box. that'd be quite nice. But, yeah.
So, given that we don't know any more than that at the moment, wish list, fear list. What would you want to see out of this? What don't you want to see out of this?
Wish list, I think narrative elements, a genuinely different gaming experience, like something that differentiates it from sevens, like distinctly, not just sort of the old kickoff table. Fears the opposite of that. I guess.
That's what it's going to be.
Yeah. So I'm just hopeful that it's a just distinct enough gaming experience. I don't think I'm really fearful, because ultimately it's an optional product. But
I still want it to mean something though. Like,
exactly.
You know, you can play sevens and you play in sevens, and there's a vibe about it. It's up tempo, it's lighter. It's just, the best way to play. You play Dungeon Bowl, there's a grind, there's a danger to it. It feels different, and you've got the college teams. So you've got standard 11s, then you've got sevens with a different roster build and a different pitch. Then you've got Dungeon Bowl with a different roster build with the college teams and a different pitch. I'm hoping that Gutter Bowl has got the different pitches and the different rules, that there is a different team element to it. I mean, if it's just sevens teams in a dungeon, in this other stuff, then you know what, that's fine. But it's just an expansion to sevens at that point.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Trips?
So I think for hopes, I think it is that it is a genuinely different way to play a game. It would be nice, I think, if it was like some combination of Dungeon Bowl rules on a sevens pitch type thing. That feels like, that would
Sign me up.
Different enough that we want to play it, but not so mad that it'd be mad. I think fears would be that the real way to play this will be league or tournament progression, because I feel like this is in the same space as Dungeon Bowl, where it'll be fun to play every once in a while, but it wouldn't be your regular form of the game.
I don't know whether it's just the setting but I'm with you completely. Like, I don't think I'd I just, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a trying to pick up game of Gutter Bowl. I can see do you want to try a game of Gutter Bowl? But if we want to play a couple of games, we might play sevens, because it's like, let's play some sevens. We can just play a sevens match. With something like this, if they lean heavily into the theme, then it's going to be let's do a little short Gutter Bowl league once a year in between seasons. Let's do a Gutter Bowl tournament day where you build your Gutter Bowl team and you come along and you play, on the different pitches throughout the day. Like you say.
I really hope this is the kind of game that we can set it up particularly when the Dungeon Bowl tournament's on, and for those players who get like 12 minutes
fast
into
wind.
a 2-hour round done, they'll be like, "Oh, we'll go and have a game of gutter ball." Yes, go and have a game of gutter ball. The teams are there, the pitch is there. Knock yourself out.
My fear would be that they use the 7 skill progression.
Oh, yeah. That's optional. Don't do that.
Because this is probably the theme for that would be fine. It's just a little, I don't know.
Actually, the team ever reworks for that.
Yeah, I don't know. That one is that one's a bit of a, yeah. Just we can do a little better than that, I reckon. But you know, my fear is that there's a lot of copy paste. This is just 7s with a different pitch. That's fine, but then you don't need a rule book for that. It should be just a 7s pitch. But if there's some fun team stuff, and it doesn't need to be much, like a player, a team special rule, a wizard, a theme, then awesome. If not, cool. We got a new variant pitch for 7s. And you know what? That's still going to be a lot of fun, but like Trip said, it's going to be a flash in the pan. Like we've now, Dungeon Bowl is an annual event, right? We sell out. It's awesome. 7s is always great fun. You can always pick up a game of 7s. I would like this to feel special enough so that actually, like, because Milton's like, this could be our summer tournament. Then we could have a summer gutter bowl tournament. This would be wicked. I would like to see that. That would be pretty sweet. So yeah, that would be my concern. Last question to you guys. We've got our our draft.
Oh yeah,
coming up.
Here it comes.
Trips posted a great question in our chat, and Trips recommended or suggested or wanted to know how we'd feel about turning the games of 7s into games of gutter bowl instead.
I think that's a phenomenal idea.
Yeah, I think my exact line was, "How long till Ben asks us to play gutter bowl draft 7s?"
You beat me to it, you know.
Yeah.
I think the theme works. The only thing that would make me and ah about that, I think that will work brilliantly if there are not gutter bowl teams. If there are gutter bowl teams, I think we may have drafted the wrong teams.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But I think if it's just, you know, a replacement pitch, then I think we definitely do, especially because we're going to be we'll be streaming 2 games at once. We could do a street pitch and a gutter bowl pitch, a street pitch and a sewer pitch, you know, and I think that would be quite fun to do. So
that would be fun. Yeah.
We can do that. All right. Well, Milton, what do you think about it? He's in. Yeah. So yeah, I think the only bump for that will be if there are specific gutter bowl teams, like I don't know if there will be, given that the box art is OWA and Underworld. But kind of that made me wonder if
oh, didn't they just rebrand those as well?
Yeah, at the same time.
Yeah.
I didn't know if there was a linked cell. A part of me got really excited and was like, "Ooh, they've copied Ben's Hangover Bowl idea."
Oh.
You know,
I get royalties on that one.
One sprue, pick 2 teams up to 1
Could
sprue.
be.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. Combine that with draft.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's it. Right, guys, I think we're probably going to wrap it up there. Hopefully we'll find out some more news as this comes live, but hey, we're planning on streaming a game of this next week if it drops in time.
Yeah, well, that's going to be the trick, isn't it? If it drops in time and we can figure it out, we'll give it a go and feedback, because I think it'll be really good fun. I suspect that it'll be one of those where at the end of the game you go, right, I know now how to play this game and which team I would have actually played with.
If you can throw over the sewer pit, then this might be a really good game for Skaven. So I might have to bust out Skaven for this one.
Yeah,
gutter runs can probably run in it.
Yeah, is there a variant of the game that you do not think is good for Skaven?
Actually, Street Bowl is quite miserable for Skaven.
Yeah.
Because
can I make a prediction? Because I've got a prediction for 2024. I thought I'd like to get one in nice and early.
Ooh,
I
okay.
think
Okay.
2024 we will see Death Bowl become an official variant of Blood Bowl.
That would be interesting.
That would be cool. I think they'd have to rebrand it though.
I think they'd have to rebrand it, but I think having played it, it's a really good variant to play because it's more than a 2-player game. So I think that would be really good fun. And it does seem to be that they are going down the variant list to
They're
tidy
great.
them all into GW.
I tell you what, how much easier would it have been for us to play Death Bowl if they'd actually produced a Death Bowl 7's pitch?
For you, yeah. That's a lot of work. By rebrand, you just mean not calling it Death Bowl?
Yeah. Like Blood Bowl Royal Rumble or Rumble Royale or
Jungle Bowl.
Coliseum or something.
Yeah.
It doesn't stop them in like Warhammer, like 40k and Age of Sigmar. Like, look at Khorne, there's death all over the thing.
Oh yeah, but when it comes to like the community-made variants, I think
they call it. Okay.
They might. I think like actually just copying Street Bowl might have been a bit of a ropey area because it's kind of been colloquially known, whereas 7's is just a number, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So it's an interesting one, but I would imagine it's an interesting one. Trips. What do you reckon, Ben?
What do you mean? As if they'll do it?
Yeah, Death Bowl next year.
I think we could see that. I think I'm hoping that by then we start getting some new teams, but you never know. If it's still like the same situation, then yeah.
I'm hoping this is the uncorking of Lifeblood into Blood Bowl now. This is like,
I hope so.
But
Still
we've
time
got
for
the-
Slash
we've
to
got
show
the
up, I
not-
guess.
Yeah, we've got the not 40k preview coming up, which is the not 40k and still not Blood Bowl preview.
not 40k. Every game except Blood Bowl is not on that listed. What game that is on there is Horus Heresy, which is 40k.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Which did make me chuckle. Oh, so much I want to talk to you guys about, but yeah, it's Epic has been like heavily rumored to be coming out this year. That's another one that's on my game list of like Epic, Battlefleet Gothic. If they drop, I'm gone. Like, this is why we need to get the move done. We need to get the studio built so that we can start doing stuff on Channel 2, on the Extra Time channel, on the second YouTube channel.
The Hobby Diaries, the Epic Diaries.
Just so much good stuff going on. But anyway, I need to go take my car to the garage now because the engine warning light came on. And, yes, so I have to go and beg my wife to take me to the garage to drop my car off. Right.
Yeah, no fun.
Yeah.
Right.
Thanks very much, guys. Always fun.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, good again.
All right. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy blocking and happy paying for car fixing. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the channel even further, please like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Or come join us on YouTube Members or in Patreon, where you can get exclusive access to some content, some loot, early access to basically everything we do, as well as regular competitions. Or you can pick up some Bonehead Podcast loot either on our website at boneheadpodcast.com. We've got the Dungeon Bowl things, we've got tokens and stuff like that, or on our Spreadshirt site as well. Everything you do just helps us make more content and hopefully do it of better quality. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Happy blocking.